Following the wrong advice from the wrong people is going to cost you your dreams. Let's stop that now. I'm going to give you 2 questions to ask that will teach you exactly who to follow based off of where you want to go in life. Where you go in life is going to be based off of who you follow, who you listen to, whose advice you take, what frameworks you follow. And the issue with that is very often we're following people based off of factors that are absolutely irrelevant. Social following, how much content they create, how well they look, the fact that they have a rented San Diego beach house or Turoed Lamborghini. Really in the background, they're completely broke. They've never run a successful business. They're, running from the feds, and they're nothing short of con artists. And to be frank, that's the majority of these online gurus. So I'm going to give you 2 questions to ask in order for you to really identify who you should be following based off of where you want to go in life. There's no shortage of content online, and it's only going to get worse with the proliferation of AI. The issue you're going to run into is, who do we listen to? Whose advice do I take? Who do I pay attention to? The first question is, what are their demonstrable outcomes as it pertains to the advice that I'm seeking? So if I want to make money, how much money have they made? If I want to lose weight, how much weight have they lost? If I want to gain weight, if I want to gain muscle, if I want to go to the NFL or become an Olympian or enter the military or start a business, what are their demonstrable outcomes as it pertains to what I want in life? So what's your goal? It starts with you. That's one of the biggest mistakes that people make, is they start following other people based on those people's dreams. Well, if that's not what you want, then don't follow that person. What do you want? What's your goal? What's your outcome? Where do you want to go? Tony Robbins calls this modeling. And I love this concept and this framework with everything inside of me because it really helps you back into success by following somebody who's already done it. What do you want? Define that first. Once you've defined that, find somebody who's done it. And the key word, by the way, is demonstrable. I've made a decamillion net worth. I've produced roughly $12 million in net asset as an entrepreneur. It sounds kind of impressive, doesn't it? Until you find out that Alex Hormozi's produced $100 million in net asset as an entrepreneur, probably more. So what does that mean? Alex Hormozi's advice is worth 10 times my advice as it pertains to wealth building. But Ray Dalio's produced 140 times Alex Hormozi's. That's how we keep score. It just is what it is. So find somebody who's achieved what you want to achieve in a demonstrable fashion. Now here's what's really interesting is because Alex Hormozi has produced $100 million net worth, the advice that he's giving very often is applicable to people that are on their way to $100 million. But if you haven't made your first million yet, the demonstrable outcome that you're looking for is actually adjusted for that time horizon. So you want to pay attention to somebody who's giving you advice that will get you to where you want to go, and you don't want to overshoot. Probably doesn't make any sense to take Ray Dalio's financial advice as he's doling it out for people that have hundreds of thousands or hundreds of millions of dollars if you haven't made your first dollar yet. So look for demonstrable outcomes that are consistent with where you currently happen to be. That's question number 1. What are their demonstrable outcomes as it pertains to your goal? Question number 2, and I actually think a more important question is, how well do our values overlap? If this person is running around clubbing baby seals or taking advantage of old ladies or stealing pension funds, is that really a person that you want to follow? I'll actually not be as extreme. I love Alex Hormozi. I quote him often. I think he's brilliant. Alex has said that not only is he not a father, but he never wants to be a father. That's interesting because I'm the father of 2 little boys, and it's one of the most important things about my life. So as I start to take advice from Hormozi, that advice is diluted to this degree that our values don't overlap. And in terms of parenting, our values do not overlap. So when I work towards certain goals, I want to make $100 million. Alex has made $100 million, but Alex made $100 million in a way that would not align with the values of a father. By his own admission, I'm not bashing the guy, he's brilliant. He's not a dad, he doesn't want to be a dad. And he's stated on record that it's because he wants to be able to continue to pursue wealth building. So I want to find somebody that's been able to produce $100 million, but still has the same values I have as a dad. That's the question. How well do our values overlap? What are their demonstrable outcomes? Number 1. Number 2, how well do our values overlap? Far too often you start paying attention to gurus, authorities, thought leaders, etc., that are giving you advice that they have no business giving you. I love Jordan Peterson with everything inside of me. I call him my digital dad. Here's what's really interesting about Jordan Peterson. He's a clinical psychologist that studied archetypal themes and myths, right? So when it pertains to psychology, themes, myths, the Bible, any of those things, I can listen to Jordan Peterson. I watched a video the other day where he was giving people nutrition advice. Probably shouldn't listen to Jordan Peterson when it comes to nutrition. I'm not saying he's a dummy. I'm not even saying he doesn't have some value, but he doesn't have a demonstrable outcome that I would want to pursue. But we get into this trap where once we like somebody, or once somebody resonates with us, or we just like the way they communicate, or we like what they do or who they are, or we want to be like them, we begin taking their advice along every level of analysis. I noticed that Cody Sanchez is now giving relationship advice. I don't know anything about her relationship, nor could I ever. I've never seen the insides of it. Cody Sanchez buys and sells businesses. I'll take Cody Sanchez's advice when it comes to buying and selling businesses. I don't know if I want Cody's advice when it comes, I'm not bashing her. I'm just saying demonstrable outcomes. What is the demonstrable outcome? What has somebody been able to produce? And is this aligned with what you want to produce? And by the way, the second half of that question is the most important. I think we all get stuck in the trap of living somebody else's dream. What do you really want? And what is it going to take to get you there? You know, like people might say something generic like, oh, I want financial freedom. awesome. What does that mean? Financial freedom for you, let's say that the lifestyle that you're aiming for would cost you $150,000 a year. That means that you need $3 million as a net worth, because you can assume a 5% yield after inflation, which is roughly 12%. You can assume a 5% yield after inflation. So $3 million of net worth would yield $150,000 in perpetuity, and you'd never touch your principal. So you need $3 million. Well, what if you have a $500,000 lifestyle that you're aiming for? That's very different. So you can't just say generic things like, oh, I want financial freedom. I want to own my own business. I want to be able to travel. What do you want specifically? What do you want at your core? I want to be able to contribute. I want to be able to help. I want to be able to employ people. I want to be able to insert your dream here. What's your dream? And don't make it generic. Because if you're just going to if you're just going to aim at financial freedom, great. We can get you there, guaranteed, without question. But you're going to do something that you hate, follow somebody that you don't like, pursue things that aren't aligned with your values. What do you want specifically? Get as specific and as granular as you possibly can. And then for every single one of those wants, categorically, what do you want financially? What do you want physically? What do you want spiritually? What do you want in relationships? Find somebody that has a demonstrable outcome as close to your outcome as you possibly can, whose values you align with. What do you want? What have they produced? Do your values align? What you want matches what they want and your values align? Man, you have a mentor. You have a path, you have a paved way, you have a checklist, you have something that you can just execute on, and you just follow them. And what's interesting is I've done this over and over in life, and it works as long as their demonstrable outcomes match what I want and our values overlap. But I'm willing to bet if you go look through your search history, your YouTube history, your reading list, everything that you paid attention to, as often as not, the people that we're listening to either haven't actually produced the outcome that we want, or our values don't necessarily overlap. And I'm not trying to bash other humans. I realize I've named a couple of names here, some of whom I know, and I'm not telling you that they're not worth paying attention to. What I'm saying is you have to ask yourself those two questions first in order to know if anybody, myself included, is worthy of your attention. What are their demonstrable outcomes? Do your values overlap? Ask yourself those two questions. Hopefully, I can be that person for you. If I can't, I hope you find them. If this video has been helpful for you, I hope you share it with other people. I make a whole host of YouTube videos on frameworks and mindsets that I hope help you achieve financial freedom. I'll see you in the next one.